Hi everyone, it's Frida and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to make this Champleve Cloisonne Enamel koi fish pendant. I've learned Cloisonne enameling 20 something years ago in an art school in Europe. Let's get to the project. Champleve enamel is when we create recessed areas in the mirror, and these recessed areas are going to be filled out with vitreous enamel. In this case, I'm going to create the recessed areas cells by fusing two silver sheets together. I'm going to cut out these little cells from the top sheet. In order to do that, I have to drill a hole in each to be able to thread through the saw blade. First, I cut out the inner cells. After that, I cut out the outline of the design too. After it was cut out, I grabbed my needle files and I filed the edges. It's more important to file the inner edges nice and smooth because after we fuse the two sheets together, we won't have a chance. Next, I e-nailed or e-nailed the top sheet. You tell me guys which one is correct. Because I wanted it to be softer to be able to fit it nicely to the bottom sheet. Now it's nice and soft, so I'm hammering it nice and flat with my mallet. Now I do the same with the bottom sheet. I didn't e-nail that because it was nice and flat, but you can do it if yours is crooked. During the fusing, the surfaces of the silver sheets melt and they become one, they fuse together. I'm going to publish a longer version of this video on Patreon where I'm going to go into more details about this process. If you watch it carefully, you can actually see how the surfaces melt. It's really important that the surfaces have to touch completely because the silver won't fuse otherwise. Now I'm ready to cut out the shape from the bottom sheet following the outline of the top sheet. Now I drilled a hole at the mouth of the fish to be able to hang the pendant. I filed the edges with my needle files and I also filed some grooves in the tail and in the fins to make them more three-dimensional. It was enough for today. I'll continue tomorrow, but before that I wanted to show you this spectacular flower. This cactus called the night blooming cereus, and it only blooms for one night. It smells amazing too, even Lucky was attracted to the smell, I think. The following day I started with the wire work for this project. I'm folding scales out of Cloisonne wires and I'm going to put them in the cells to give this nice pendant a little bit more detail. It's not that difficult. I use my small round nose plier here and I just fold mostly identical little half circles. I place them on the sticky side of a clear tape because I don't want to lose them. I'm using fine silver wires and I forgot to mention that the base is fine silver too. Sterling silver cannot be enameled on. I almost forgot to dome the pendant, so I'm going to do that now. We dome it to prevent warping and to give it a nice shape. Now the base is ready for enameling. We always start the enameling process with the back, so that's what I'm doing here. I sifted the counter enamel and I fired it off camera. After it cooled off, I sifted the front with clear fuse. I tried to clean off as much enamel as I could from the metal part of the pendant. That's because it's easier this way than to have to sand it off at the end. When I was happy with it, I fired it off camera. Now I'm placing the scales, the Cloisonne wires in the cells. They're even going to create smaller cells. I like to use glue here to secure the wires until the next firing. Sometimes it's tricky though because the small wires stick to the tweezer instead of the surface of the pendant. But with a little patience I managed to put all the wires in place. You can actually do this in increments. Put some wires on the base, fire it so they get stuck in the melted base coat and they won't move around anymore, and continue putting more wires on the base. I usually do this in one go. When I was done putting the wires on the pendant, I waited the glue to dry and I fired it off camera in my kiln. After that I chose the colors. These enamels are already washed, but I still wanted to rinse them to make sure that they are nice and clean. I poured some distilled water on them, I shook them around and I poured off most of the water. Now the fun part of this process begins, and that is filling out the cells with these beautiful colors. I've chosen this beautiful yellow, which I'm going to mix with orange, and I've also chosen opalescent white and black. While you watch me do this, I would like to talk to you about my course on Patreon. It's a beginner-friendly 3-part course and we're making this beautiful Cloisonne Enamel trillium piece. You can follow me step by step, and by the end of this course you will learn a lot about this beautiful process and you're going to end up with a beautiful Cloisonne enamel piece. Check it out, I'm going to leave the link in the description. You can see that I'm using a paintbrush and a scraper to get these enamels between the cells. Water also helps a lot to get these enamels where they should be. The tiny enamel particles float in the water to the corner of these little cells. These enamels are not paint-like, they don't dissolve in water, they kinda have a consistency of a wet sand. I didn't really decide how I'm going to place the colors, I'm kinda going by feel. When all the cells were filled, I put the enamel aside to dry. It's important, you really don't want to put wet enamel in the kiln, it would ruin your work. It was time to stretch my legs, so I took a break and I made a tea. If you watch carefully, you can catch a glimpse of a blooming agave behind the tea kettle. I left the tea to steep and I came back and I fired the pendant in my kiln on 1400 Fahrenheit for 2 minutes. Enamel shrinks in the kiln, so we need to apply more layers. I usually apply 3 layers altogether, I'm going to do the 3rd off camera. Until you watch me do this, let's answer a comment I got on my last video. The comment was asking about enameling on curved surfaces. Yes, you can absolutely enamel on curved surfaces, you might have to do it in increments though. When placing the wires on the surface, the glue helps a lot in this case. When we apply the enamel with water, so the cohesion between the water molecules helps to get the enamel stuck on the surfaces. When the enamel dries, it compacts, it's not really falling off anymore unless you shake your piece. I'm going to put a link in the corner if you want to check out my ring video where I enameled on curved surfaces. When I was done with the last layer of color, I put it aside to dry. Until it dried, I poured a cup of tea and we went for a walk with Lucky. We hiked about half an hour and he did his doggy things. When we came back, I fired the piece in my kiln, again on 1400 Fahrenheit for 2 minutes, and after I started to sand it with my diamond pads. I'm also using a lot of water. The purpose of the sanding is to make the surface smooth and to expose the wires. Guys, if you would like to see more enameling videos from me, please check out this playlist. Before it was done, I had to fire it again because enamel loses its shine during the sanding. During this last firing, the surface of the enamel melts again, so it gets shiny. I polished the surface of the silver and it was done. I hope you guys like this pendant as much as I do. It's going to be available in my online shop soon. If you like my work, please consider supporting me on Patreon. You can also show your support by subscribing, liking, sharing my videos and commenting on them. Thank you guys so much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!